Okay, my name is Irina, as you can see, Irina Malarova. I'm an LT consultant of Linguist Company, which is a proud representative of National Geographic Learning in Ukraine. And as a new face, I want to share several facts about myself. I hope you will do the same in the chat box. Let's do our usual. I'm from Zaporizhia. It's still Ukraine. Tell me where you're from. Oh, Lviv, okay. Kyiv, Nikopol. Hi, neighbors. Odessa. We have Odessa and oh, we have someone from Kherson. Oh, it's so nice that you are with us. Okay, Кам'янське, Lviv, Dnipro. Hi, neighbors. Закарпаття. Hi. Okay. Kharkiv, Sarne. Oh. Dnipro, Odessa. We have a lot of people from Odessa today with us. Oh, Черкаси, Чернівці, Хмельницький. Oh, several. Солидар. Oh, thank you for coming. Кривий Ріг, Полтава, Коломия, Тернопіль, Володимир, Кропивницький. We have all Ukrainian is here today. Oh, Миргород. Oh, Запоріжжя. Oh, okay. Золотоноша. Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing information about yourself. Yeah, it's nice to meet you all. Drohobych, Kharkiv. Okay, so I've been working in education and publishing books for a decent amount of time. As you can see, it's 10 years. I hope you will find my suggestions of some value. And also, Mariupol, thank you for staying in Zaporizhia. I hope you will be sharing your ideas with you. Just email me or write to me to Viber or Telegram after webinars and share your ideas about our topics and propose topics that you want to hear. I always welcome your suggestions. And also, I want to share with you as we today, as we are speaking about pronunciation today, I want to share with you that I've just learned a new word. I believe for teachers it's also important to learn something new each day. Yeah. Hi, Ivana from Kyiv. Yes. Okay. So my word of the day have been spiel, as you can see. Yes. S-P-I-E-L, spiel. It means giving a quick speech, but in the sense of trying to make excuses and persuade listeners in something. That's why I hope that today we will try different, more practical approach to our topic, and there won't be any spills for us today. Yeah, it's just that I learned a new word, and I hope you're also picking up some words from your study books each day, and sometimes share with your students, as it helping to show that we all are English learners, like learners for life. Yes. And I also hope that you have a cup of something hot, as today it's rather chilly in Zaporizhia, and you are ready to start this webinar with me. Yeah? Oh, and now hello from Odessa. Hi. I hope to visit you very soon. Okay. So, today we are talking about ways to increase speech eligibility with adult learners. I hope some of you already know what does it mean, eligibility. With others, we will get to discuss it today for you to quickly use this term and be familiar with it much more, as it describes something that we are already doing with our students. It's not something unusual to English teachers. It's just that new term, like a new buzzword appeared for us to discuss, and new approaches were introduced. But it's something that we already seen a lot of times on our lessons. Then we have them with adult learners, also in primary school and in secondary school. Today we're focusing on adult learners, as we will see examples from our new addition to National Geographic Learning Series. It's course Voices. Maybe some of you already seen some advertisements about it, or maybe some videos. Its activities features real-world content. And the main goal is to prepare young adults and adults for interaction with real world, and also to guide them to develop their own voice in English. And then we're speaking about speech eligibility. It's always about voices. Okay, so I see several hands. Let's do like that. Please use chat. I will run through all the questions, all your comments after the presentation. I hope we will cover all of them. Yeah. Right now we are using only chat box for that. Okay, so we have agenda, and let's take a look at it. We will discuss with you today pronunciation and challenges that it put for students and also for us as teachers and educators. Also, we will discuss main features that we usually teach. Then we're talking about pronunciation with our students, and we will try to build our voice. We will take a look at examples from the series called Voice. That's why it's wordplay. But also, we will discuss with you this a moment then we help our students to build confidence speaking out. Yeah, like saying something, giving voice to this world, sharing ideas with world, using their voice. It's really important, and pronunciation is great help with it. And also we will have traditional questions and answers. There I will check everything, and that's why I strongly encourage you to type in questions that you may have throughout the presentation. Then we will discuss them. Okay, and one more important notice, we changing a bit the system of providing you certificates. That's why you will receive your certificate within 2 working days, 48 hours working days. Yeah, so I ask you, please check your email as well as your junk box, as sometimes certificates appear there on Monday. If you don't see your certificate in your email on Monday in your email box, please contact me or a linguist. We will provide it. And also, I thank you for your understanding as we changing it a bit to working days. So let's start. Let's start with my favorites, with giving you a question. Let's start with the question, what is pronunciation? I've prepared several statements about pronunciation. It's just that I want you to complete them with the option that you feel more comfortable about, this option that speaks more to you and to your teaching style. For us to see that we on the same page about meaning, or maybe discuss how different approaches we are taking in Ukraine to teach pronunciation. So the first statement, pronunciation, it's a way in which a language is heard or spoken. Please use the chat box and choose one, heard or spoken, which speaks to you more. Spoken. Okay. Spoken. Good. Do we have someone who believes that pronunciations, it's about how language is heard? Spoken. Oh, both. And heard. Okay, both. Oh, okay. So I would agree with most of you, as there is no wrong answer here, as it's both. It's definitely both. You see, mostly when we think about pronunciation, it's about speaking. Yes, as it caters more for speaking necessities, and also for our students' needs to share their ideas. But sometimes we use pronunciation for listening, and we will discuss it today. That's why it's both. It's always heard and spoken. Okay. So I will try to use something like that. Okay, we take both. We need both. We can just separate language in sections, like, listening separately from speaking. No, it's like both sides of the medal. Yeah, the using of both of them, it's like reading and writing. They're always connected. If you promoting, if you're trying to develop one skill, another would be also developing, maybe not so efficiently, but still. That's why we will take both. I have another for you. So, pronunciation includes vocabulary or grammar? How do you think? Then we teach pronunciation. It's more about teaching pronunciation with vocabulary or with grammar, or maybe both. Both. Okay, vocabulary. I see some vocabulary. Okay. Vocabulary mostly. Yes, I like this word mostly, more. Yeah. As we on this ground there, it's rather shaky. We can't say that it's only about one topic differently. Yeah. That's why, yes, it's a bit tricky with me today as I propose such idea. Both. Yes, mostly in most books we see that pronunciation caters to vocabulary. We use examples from vocabulary, but don't forget that there are some topics within pronunciation we will discuss with you, what topics that deals with grammar structures, and also very important to be taught, as it will help our students to be more comprehensible, to be, as my English speaker friends say, there is no such word, but I believe it should be understandable. Yeah, but in a sense, it's comprehension. Yes, they need to be understood. That's why for comprehension, we also need to talk about pronunciation with grammar. That's why both. Okay, one more, but not the last one. What the meaning, how we see pronunciation, more about how you feel about it. Pronunciation with other students, it's a main barrier to be understood, or it's assessed to be understood. What's it with your students? It doesn't help them mostly, as sometimes I know it's a challenging topic and it's hard to teach it, and it's hard to learn, as we all struggle with it. But is it more barrier or maybe access, as it like, I don't really like to say this word in ELT, but life hack, yeah, that can improve your speaking quickly and help you at least imitate that you are closer to some level. Okay. Yeah, mostly. I says mostly both. Yes, you see, for this, I would say it's both, as we can't just put a nice smile and saying that everything is okay, and that we don't have problems with pronunciation as Ukrainians. Yes, in English we have such problems. We have issues that we need to discuss with our students and help them. As for me, if we're talking about adult learners, the main point of disappointment, it's pronunciation. As we are preparing for some exams, for example, IELTS, it's always a struggle to do speaking part, just because they need to go through pronunciation, and it's always stressful, as not a lot of students have enough control of their pronunciation, and sometimes they jump from one type of pronunciation to another, like American type and British one. Received pronunciation sometimes is mixed. I also was taught in that system. That's why I know it firsthand how it can be, and I tried to improve it myself. That's why I can say that yes, it can be better. But also it's access, as we easily can improve and be closer to level B1 in speaking and listening than even in reading and writing, as it's easier to listen, yeah, to model, and then to drill pronunciation, as learn combinations of letters, for example, for word language. Yeah, as I was taught English like 20 years ago was my first lesson with English, and I still have this at the back of my mind, that language, if you need to quickly to write it, you need to recall something like language, and then you will always write it correctly without any mistakes. But it's wrong to learn like that. Just that sometimes writing is harder than speaking. And why? as if we master pronunciation, it will be much easier for us to move further. Okay, so 2 more to go. We have 2 more statements. It's more about how we feel about teaching it. So learners should embrace their accent or speak with a standard native speaker accent. Which you would prefer? First one or second one? I understand it's pretty long to like phrases to write. Please put 1 or 2 or both. Yeah. How do you think? Oh, and while we're waiting, we have a question. How long will the meeting will be? For 1 hour. We will stop. I hope at least we will stop at 5. Okay, first one, embrace the accent. Okay, the second, yeah, speak standard, yeah. So received pronunciation, or if we have sometimes with adult students, we prepare for general American. Yes, there are such books. Linguists usually provide books with British pronunciation, yeah, but British editions. But if you're speaking about American, yeah, it can be also brought to Ukraine and used here. As you see, it's a bit different topic from teaching pronunciation with high school, within high school or secondary school. Moment of that. Most of adult students come with some purpose and move into another country, work relations, and they already know what pronunciation they would prefer. That's why it's sometimes about them. Okay, they should embrace the pronunciation, but aware of their accent. Yes, and also I want to remind you, I would say they need to try the first one, yeah, as accent, it's always something that we need to cherish. It's not something bad. Yeah. If some people tell you that accent is bad, it's a wrong type of approaching teaching English in general. As there is no such thing as good and bad in teaching. Only something to improve, something to progress from. Yes, accent can show where we're from, our heritage, the places that we've been to, also our work and previous experiences. It's all about accent. And also it's important that we stay true to ourselves. Yeah, don't try to modify ourselves and try to imitate being, I don't know, middle class Brits. Yeah, they're a bit different. They have different habits. It's not for us to imitate it correctly. I still remember that my teacher sometimes gave me lessons like listen to spoken English of some American and write like arrows of pronunciation, like not pronunciation, intonation. Yeah. And also try to imitate. And always I had bad marks, as I told them that I don't want to imitate pronunciation of a middle-aged man, as I was a teenager, a female teenager at that moment. It's a bit hard for me to repeat after man pronunciation, as it's a bit different. Yeah, I put stresses differently, I put pauses differently. That's why please let me speak as I want, but it's not always happens like that on lessons. So, but yes, we need to be aware that there are 2 types of pronunciation that's called native speaking. Received pronunciation, British one, we just need to remember that not a lot of people speaking received pronunciation, even in the UK, and also general American that considered as standard, but still not in every state people speak like that. They also have something that's called global English. Usually we tend to fall into this category as the second level, second language speakers, and for in English, that's why it's something that we have accent, but accent can be a bit of barrier for being understood if it's too strong. Yeah, if we have strong accent, it can influence how they understood. If we jump in from one type of pronunciation, British and American, yes, it's also would influence and give us trouble with exams. For example, IELTS. I still remember that when you're preparing for speaking part, you won't be downgraded if you speak in American type pronunciation or British one, but if you mix both of them, they would minus you. Not a lot, but still. If it's only doesn't have to be to understand your ideas. If you can express your ideas clearly and the message is there, so they wouldn't be doing that. As you know that our favorite common European framework of reference, SERF, removed native speaker proficiency as their benchmark recently. And right now there is no such thing as native speaker proficiency. Yeah, they don't need to imitate. But our proficiency in language really tightly connected with how well we can be comprehensible in English. That's why we are talking about that. That we can just bond received pronunciation and general American and move only to embracing our accents. No, but also we need to be aware that accent is something that will stay with us. As adults, we usually missed this rare chance to learn native speaking in English, as it can be only taught till late childhood, but then we already in our teenage years and also as adults, it's harder to do. It's like mission impossible. Yeah. And also the last statement, please. Okay. Show me? Yes. Okay. So teachers do worry or don't worry about their own pronunciation. Maybe just me, who always feel worried. Do worry. Okay, do. Worry a lot. Oh, yeah. Some do, some don't. Okay, yes, do. Okay. Do, don't. Yeah, okay, do worry. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I often check how to pronounce some words. That's why my Google already learned that I'm not Googling meaning of the words. I'm Googling mostly pronunciation. They do. Okay. I also prefer if you would say we do. Yeah. Not only they, like teachers, we do that. As it's we can't separate ourselves from the process of learning English. Yes. Then we teaching, we also learning in the process. As I told you today, I learned what spill, and it's from C1 book that I was looking through today, and I found a new word and like, oh, it's something that I learned, and I wanted to share with you just for this statement to show you that teachers are also learners. Even if we teach, just that we on the same road with our students, we just moving a bit more quickly than them, and we already reached some milestones that our students want to reach. And sometimes they have this benefit that native speakers don't have in teaching English. It's that we already gone this road, and we know there would be challenging. What would be challenging for Ukrainian speakers and Russian speakers, yeah, and what wouldn't be? There we will need to struggle. There would be much easier to say we can compare our languages. They sometimes do that. It's just that it's okay to feel worried. If you don't worry, it's also okay not to worry. It's just for you to have some connection to it. Yes, to see yourself included in the process of learning pronunciation and share it with your students. I know that the best moments of my students having more motivation and also being connected with me in learning. It's then I was saying to them that I don't know what does this word mean, and I will look it up for next lesson, or I will I just say to them that I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's take a look at the transcription together and then figure out what does how to say it. Yeah, and it's always helpful to show them that I'm not a dictionary as a teacher. Yeah, I'm not a translator to them. I don't know everything. I'm also learning. I'm also a human being. Yes, that's why sometimes it's good then if you have with adult learners a group study. It's good to ask other people. Maybe they know the pronunciation to show that not always it comes from us. Yeah, we not the dictionary for meanings. Yes, we can provide meanings for every word, but also pronunciation. It's not all our own responsibility to know all pronunciations. Sometimes we have a bit of challenging things, and I want to show you and remind you of one of most. Hi, good evening, and it's okay, stay with us, please. I want to remind you about one famous joke about English pronunciation. Maybe some of you, oh, sorry, I don't know why it doesn't show me, like, oi, sorry, okay, a bit of spoiler. Take a look. Good to you. Maybe you already know what how to pronounce it in a different way. Maybe you already shown this to your students. If not, I strongly advise to you use this joke for them to feel more relaxation and more confidence in their speaking English. They know how to pronounce this in different way. It's a joke of Bernard Shaw, Irish playwright. Please write in chat box if you know. Okay, I see some answers already. Yeah, yes. So, some more? Who knows? Okay, you probably seen my spoiler as I was scrolling. Так. Okay, so it's fish, and I will even show you explanation why this is fish. It's really strange to say that such GHOTI can be spoken as fish, but there is such joke that they can take GH from enough, yeah, O from women, and also TI from action, and we have F, E, Sh, fish. Yeah, pronunciation can be challenging, and they need to be aware about it and also make jokes about it. Ukrainians like to do a lot of jokes, and we do a lot of memes right now. That's why it's okay to joke about it. Then we laughing about something, it stops being scary for us. If we laugh about pronunciation, we feel a bit of relaxation, and also we build our confidence and motivation that we can like overcome this challenge of learning it. So what we usually discuss with our students when we're talking about pronunciation, we have several topics that we usually see in different study books. First one, it's sounds of English. They talking about phonemes, allophones, and minimal pairs. It's usually what we start discussing in primary. Yeah, and then we moving through levels of English, discussing it and repeating it for recycling. Also, we discuss consonants and different combinations of it. We go through vowels and weak forms. It's also a topic that often appear in study books, how to say vowels. Next one, stress and intonation. In some books, you can see this in some Kant. It's that we sometimes discuss it like additionally, if we see problems with our students, stress and intonation. Also pauses go there. And connected speech. my personal experience with topics for pronunciation, if we talking about adult learning study books, it's mostly connected speech. We discuss connected speech like every 2 or 3 units with students that they need to understand fast speech. As please speak quickly, they need to try to imitate the fast speech and also need to understand it and pick up ideas from it and have discussions about it. Also, I often do with my students TED Talks. Videos, we watch them and we discuss them. And connected speech is something that also corresponds to these activities. But you see, all of them can appear, but in different proportions. It's just that we sometimes forget the main point that pronunciation is 2 types. We already discussed that it used when we heard and also when we speaking. Yeah, so spoken and heard. So we would call it more professional, receptive and productive. Yeah, receptive pronunciation, it's then we listen to people and try to understand how people say it. Sometimes we model after them. Yeah, we take someone like a role model, we listen and trying to repeat, trying to imitate, and we even drilling it. I still have this word with me, abstentions. It's like flowery a bit, that I had to drill in my mind. That's why it stick there. But is it good? No, I hate that word. But it's just what we do. It's receptive. We trying to understand how people speak in English, and we try to imitate sometimes. It's receptive. We usually develop it while we're listening, and also we have productive one. Today we will concentrate mostly on productive type, as they need these adult learners to help them speak clearly, to be eligible, to be comprehensible, and also to build this confidence to speak clearly. It's important for them to build their motivation around pronunciation. As then you meet your adult learners, they usually come with experience of sometimes good experiences, sometimes bad experiences, from being in primary school and learning English in primary school, learning English in secondary school, traveling several times to learn somewhere on different courses, also visited places like traveling. They have different exposure to English, but it's always about having previous experience. And when they ask even students who have B2, C1, they say that Ukrainians mostly, I'm talking about our students, they often say that they have bad pronunciation. They are not sure that they're speaking clearly, and their ideas are easy to comprehend in English for native speakers and also for people who learned English as a second language. That's why productive is something that we need to develop. As receptive, we do a lot of tasks for receptive pronunciation, but with productive, not a lot. And also, I want this you discuss how we would separate this list that I showed you, these topics, in 2 categories: receptive pronunciation and productive, which is catering more. Where we would put learning phonemes, solophones, and minimal pairs. It's about reception or about production of language. How do you think? I will give you a moment. Yeah. Maybe you can create a list. I believe I understand to write it. It's a bit visual thinking from me. So maybe one. Let's do like that, from 1 to 5, and put letters received R and productive P. Yeah. Okay. So I will give you a moment. Please try to share your ideas. How do you see it? No one. Or someone is writing all of them for both. Yeah, for both. They use all of them for receptive and productive. I would say my favorite word of today, mostly, or more like that. Yeah, but I want to share with you an insight that not really all of them. Take a look. If we're talking about receptive pronunciation, our concentration goes there. Vowel quality and connected speech. We usually pay attention to it. Vowel quality and connected speech. But with productive, it's phonemes, allophones, and minimal pairs, and consonants and stress and intonation pauses, all this. As these are necessities for our students to speak. Yeah, without saying consonants clearly, they wouldn't be understood in English. That's why comprehension would be rather bad. Stress, intonations, pauses. It's all important to produce your ideas as a bit of change in intonation, a bit of change of nuclear stress in sentence, and it would have different meaning. Phonemes, allophones, and minimal pairs, it's basic, background that we need to build with pronunciation. It's all this about productive. But then we're talking about receptive, about listening. Yes, we can discuss with our students, and it's good if you're discussing it. Vowel quality, cap or cup. Yes, these things. But it only would influence how they hear. As vowels are important to discuss. It's just that they wouldn't be so important to be understood correctly. It's usually more about consonants than vowels to understand the word. And also connected speech, I told you, it's more about than we watching TED Talks to understand fast speech. But do we need to use fast speech? It's always about individual speaking style of the student. If they use fast speech with Ukrainian, with Russian, yes, they would be interested in doing fast speech. But do they need really to do that if they prefer to be more, let's say, Arestovich style, to speak slowly and to be quiet and take these pauses for people to think about ideas that have been spoken. These topics, they need to discuss with students, but for productive pronunciation to be understood, these are must-haves. This one to be aware of, to discuss, to be seen, but most exercises, these for productive will be written like to speak. Yeah, all activities would be catering to speaking, this for listening, and you will be, after discussing pronunciation, you go to speaking activity, but not to listening. Oh, sorry, to listening activity, but not to speaking. Yes, this receptive, we do listening activities. This productive, we finish all theory with spoken English, this speaking exercises. That's why mostly when we want to promote this idea of confidence and communication, we use these topics and help with these topics. These to be aware of. Okay, and today I quickly will show you voices. It's interesting cards, as it was done by a group of authors, and they created a list of videos that help to develop professionally for teachers and in several spheres. So today we only see a bit of clear voices, as all materials are built on research, recently researched and also implemented here. For example, eligibility. They develop our comprehension, receptive and also productive, the type of pronunciation, and also about how to be a good global communicators, as it's part of 21st century intentions, yes, goals that we need to achieve to be effective in living in the modern world. That's why voices, it's about building your voices, your voice, but also it's about this sphere pronunciation. I will show you what topics this book provides to teach pronunciation, and please pay attention. Maybe you're already teaching. If you see some new topics for yourself, please note in which sphere we are going. Is it like the recent research, what we need to teach? Okay, they provide such videos, clear voices, like clear pronunciation, particularly this one, also embracing your accent, and also about how to teach with voices. It's rather interesting and short, and it helps you to get rid of some myths, but also to check if you're staying in tune with recent researches. Okay, this is unit. Unit look like that. We're interested in this box, this one, as it, you see, about pronunciations. In some books, you would see such boxes as additional pages, like at the back of the book. You can also use like that. If your books provide pronunciation as a box, it's also good. You can do this activity is a part of not self-study or extension, but as your lesson, as a part of your lesson. And also judge your students will see like it's necessity to learn. Okay, I will make it bigger for you to see. You see, it's the same from this page, and I have several types of them. I will show you. This is box for pronunciation, and how to figure out. It will be about receptive pronunciation, or it will be about productive. We are told that we need to look at that box and then listen. So it's about receptive one. We will be catering for understanding other people. You see, it's important to understand other people, but we remember that we need something about productive too. So then you see, listen, this activity, it's only about receptive one. It doesn't help people to be clear in speaking English. It helps to understand other people. That's why using stress for emphasis, it would be about how other people speak and we understand how they use stresses. Maybe we can turn on some critical thinking and decide how we will use this knowledge. But if you see activity that caters only to listening, you see, we listen around this box, and next activity also listening. So it's only about listening. You need to emphasize yourself that all this knowledge can be implemented in speaking, and then ask your students to provide their own examples. If some activity is done only about listening, to turn on productive pronunciation, you need to ask them to provide examples, their own examples, for them to feel related and also to work with it. Okay, this one, it's more about combination. You see, listening and pronunciation. So first, students discuss how to understand accents of other people. So receptive one, and then we need to discuss pronouncing long and short I, like in mean and with. This one also goes for listening one. So it means it's more about receptive. We do a lot of receptive activities, I told you. But then goes listening interview, but also in this particular, we ask to do practice saying. You see, then you have this one, or you say to your students, even its activity was about listening. Practice saying it, provide examples, try to say it. It's about being productive. If your students only read a box about some information, how to pronounce something, and then do listen activities, it's only receptive. Nothing will be improving in speaking, only in listening. Then we asking them, practice saying what's that was underlined in this activity I shown you. Still, mean, city, with, in. You see, the practice, it helps to be productive. It helps. They need always to finish activities the same, then it will be helping eligibility. Also, I will show you my favorite one, like the best. It's about TH. Yeah, and we often have discussions with our adult learners about it. How to say it, we provide different examples. I still remember that many years ago, I was teaching my students something like, saying it Russian, sorry, злая зебра, сильный слон. Злая зебра, сильный слон. Yeah, it's the way how we tried to teach it like many years ago. But right now it's better not to do like that. Just I'm telling you that this is a touchy topic for learning English, and we always discuss how to say think and how to say that. But these books explain to our students that it's usually said like that, but nevertheless, in some cases, some people say it's like fu, vu, t, d. It's just that we don't need to mix pronunciation. If we stick to one way to say this sound, we need to stick to it. It will be a part of our accent, and in some cases, it's even be understood by other people. But if we mixing it and saying zinc and then zinc and then fort, it's a bit different approach how we do it, and it wouldn't help. We choose how we will be saying it. It's just part of accent. But if we don't show that we can control how we say th, then it's bad pronunciation. It's that we didn't put enough practice and didn't put enough thought about. We didn't discuss it with our students, so just had 2 minutes to discuss it through one book. It's not enough practice, not enough teaching, and not enough learning. That's why we need sometimes to make a pause, discuss it with our students, to practice it if we want productive one, to listen to other people speaking it, like ask your group of adult learners to say it correctly, or one word, think. And they listening how other people speak, and then also provide the example. It's also good practice when we share how we speak as second language learners. Also, I want to show you an insight. You see, all these topics about understanding stress, about how to say long and short e, how to say th, it in a book for B2. Always, I feel that my students, when they reach B1, pronunciation is something that we need only discuss, like then I see problems, I see issues, like to polish it, but never to discuss it profoundly, never to do it systematically, only to discuss issues with pronunciation, as I believe my students were taught a lot before they come to me, my adult learners, through primary school, secondary, and high school. They learn how to pronounce. I don't need to do that. No, we need to this recycling. Even if it's B2, please emphasize with your students that pronunciation is part of how they develop as language learners, and it's okay to discuss something even they already know. It's just that you quickly would recycle it with them, and they can just provide more examples from what they already learned previously. It would be much interesting for them to discuss like that, but still they need to discuss such topics, even if it's B2, it's C1, it's C2. We always discuss them. We can't just miss pronunciation topics and say only about issues. Sometimes I personally feel as a teacher that probably we can skip or self-study, something like that. But no, it's always would bite me back. Then we would be doing speaking, and I would understand that I could discuss it with my students, but I omit this chance to improve and to help my students to do better with it. Okay, and I will show you what topics are done for B2. It's the same voices, level upper intermediate, B2. Okay. Sorry. Okay, take a look. Stress for emphasis also short and long vowels. I told you quality is good to discuss, but remember it's more about receptive. Also, combinations, pronouncing groups of 2 and more consonants. For us, it's not so complicated as we can have. We have in Ukrainian words that combine 3 and even 4 consonants together, and we are exposed to a lot of such vocabulary and grammar. But for some languages, it's harder. That's why we are learning not only being good in pronouncing it, but also being good in appreciating other people's struggles with it. As mostly we communicate with different groups of people speaking English, but it's not always people from America or United Kingdom. We need to understand that people also struggle with pronunciation. It's not something funny, and we don't need to correct other people if they're not asking us to do that. As not learners, I'm talking about speaking outside of classroom. Also, auxiliary verbs and going for our sound, or sound. Okay, so it's about this. You see, we have a lot of topics repeating, and also and also the talking about connected speech, but it's also additional. It's always additional. We always returning to the topic of consonants and discussing it a lot with our students. Okay, I don't sorry, didn't see that the appearance. Okay, we see this have we given more practice for our students. If we're talking about level A2 with adult learners, we would discuss only B and V sounds, how we pronounce them and compare. But for B2, we take B, V, and we compare them together and given more practice for that. Okay. More and more sounds, you see pausing and also aspirating. It's all the topics that we discuss for B2 a lot. 10 boxes for one unit, for one level, it's a lot. But it's necessary to do right now as our students show that they have problems with pronunciation and they need to improve. But the first thing that we improve them, and it's helping them to be productive. If they start to be productive, they can work on their reception, how they listen to other people speaking. That's why if you give them your students, like I do myself, TED Talks to watch and then do discussions with them. But pay attention, pick up several words from this TED Talk and discuss how to pronounce them, create your own target grammar or target vocabulary from this video and discuss pronunciation. It would be a good practice then, not just watching and discussing ideas and messages that was present in that TED Talk. It's good to go for ideas. It helps with critical thinking, but don't forget that our students need to be productive in speaking, and pronunciation sometimes is the key to it. We are finishing. I just remind you that your certificate will be sent to your email within 24 hours. It's 2 working days. So on Monday, please check your email and also your junk box. Sometimes certificates go there. If not, please contact linguist. Sorry, linguist or me personally about your certificate. We will send it to you. I thank you for being today with me, and please contact if you have any questions.